Hello, welcome back to another episode of 0 to 60. Now, behind the camera right now are the turbos. Now, keep in mind, one of them is for me, one of them is for Jake, but I have ordered both of them. But before I show you what they are, and I try and justify why I went this way, please remember where we all come from. These are not the turbos I would be buying if I had an endless bank account. However, the more research I've done on them, the more people I've spoken to, I've heard so many good things. Hey, and they're going on the 17T car. It would be wrong to put a brand name turbo on that, wouldn't it? Guys, I bought PULSAR turbos. Now, actually, let's try and get all this in frame. Where do we start? PULSAR turbos. I don't know a lot about them. However, they are priced like a China turbo. They're around $1,200 for these two turbos, and they are sort of carbon copies of the Garrett G35 1050 and the G35 900. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean they are as good as the Garretts, and like I said before, if I had an unlimited bank account, I would have bought a Garrett, but I don't. So I've gone for a cheaper option. They're essentially a quarter to a third of the price of a Garrett turbo, and because of the way they are priced, it sort of leaves us in a position where if this ends up being too laggy, I can switch to that, or if Jake wants to go to something more bigger, it's not going to break the bank. Or if you buy a Garrett, it's literally $4,000 for these turbos. So they are really cheap. Why have we gone with Garrett or a Garrett style over a Borg Warner or a Precision, which I know a lot of guys in the States like? The turbo kit was designed, and all of the computer aided design, there's a word for that, CAD. Basically all of the flow systems and algorithms that they used were based on standard valves and a Garrett GTX 3582 Gen 2. And it's the 3582 Gen 2 that Adam has on his car, and that car is spooling pretty much the same, maybe even a little bit earlier than the Flowmaxes. So the Garrett GTX 3582, and I hope I got these numbers right, Gen 2 is a very laggy turbo. It generally spools similarly to a Garrett GTX 3584, which is the turbo that's on O'Reilly. However, the Gen 1 GTX 3582 is a quicker spooling turbo. Now, apparently, from everything I've read, the G35 1050 will spool like a GTX 3582. So I should get similar spool characteristics as Adam is getting. One thing to keep in mind, this kit was designed as a twin scroll kit. Unfortunately, Garrett haven't made a twin scroll V-band in and outlet turbo yet, not in the G35 series, so PULSAR haven't had a chance to copy it. I'm gonna pick on PULSAR a bit, but please don't take it to heart, all the PULSAR fanboys. Obviously I like the product, that's why I bought them, but I do also feel sorry when companies like Garrett put a lot of money into development and then somebody just borrows the design. I shouldn't be completely definitive like that. There may be slight differences inside, but they're certainly marketed as a 35 1050 and a 35 900, which is what we have here. So another reason that I got super excited and went for the newer generations instead of the older GTX 3582 that Adam is running on his car, the test car. Ken has been playing with the 35 1050, the genuine one, on a few of his cars and customer cars, and even his spool times are incredible. They seem to be, for an N54, if you want to go quick, we're not talking circuit racing like this one, but the 1050 seems to be the best of both worlds. It spools well, and you've got the potential to make 1,000 horsepower, which is good, and where I'd like to be, hopefully by the end of the year, but we'll see how we go. So, let me bring you guys over, let's have a closer look. I haven't even taken the caps off. Just as I stood round to frame this, I actually noticed that the inlets are actually a different size, and it looks, oh, the outlets are as well. I genuinely haven't had much of a look at these turbos yet, guys. Oh, and I'll touch on the Wastegates as well. We'll get them opened up because they cost as much as the turbos. Yeah, so we have the G35 1050 on the left and the G35 900 on the right. And you can definitely see the inlet size is different. I will put links to both of these turbos down in the description. And I do need to give a shout out to my friend that supplied these turbos. And he was super excited to help out the channel. If I can just find his business card. JB Tire and Mechanical. Local dude, please text him and tell him that you've seen his stuff on the 0 to 60 channel, because he's a bit of a car nut, even though he plays with bikes. And I also want him to bring his twin turbo V8 out, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to smoke him with the N54s. He doesn't realize that yet, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Anyway, back to the turbos. So yeah, basically a copy of the G35 1050s. Every specification that is listed just is it's a carbon copy. Now, something that you will notice between the 1050 and the 900, they are actually designed to mount onto the same car. So inlet and outlet positions for exhaust and charge air is all the same, although this one is a bigger diameter. They are in the same locations. Let's take this off. And obviously V-band in and out. They are water and air-cooled turbos, just like the Garrett's. The exhaust housing on my turbo is a 1.01 AR, where the 900 is a 0.83 AR. Jake has gone that route because he intends to basically have, I mean, he's a bit of a girl. Yeah, he only wants around that 700 wheel horsepower, so he's not shooting for huge numbers, even though he's got a full built motor and a ZF8 going in, but he wants response for circuit work. I did tell him that once he's lived with 700 wheel horsepower for a month, he'll want more. And he's not too fussed. He said he'll just buy the turbo. And that is one of the big benefits of the cheaper Pulsar turbos. Don't get me wrong, I think, look, I've had a really good run with my China turbos on the 17T car. No smoke, no rattles, no weirdness. Well, no more than when we first installed them. But if you were building something for an endurance race, yeah, you'd probably put the Garrett's on. But if you need something that is sort of a weekend car, something you just have a bit of fun with, you can't go wrong with these. They literally, they're $1,100 to $1,300 depending on how you spec them. It's cheap. Man, that 1.01 housing does look huge. Let's shine a light in there. That's how big you could put your, never mind. It's a big hole. Yeah. They are ball bearing turbos. Counting the blades. Yeah, and super interested to see what it's actually going to perform like. And I figured it'd be cool to have both. I know I'm going to get my car running before Jake's, so if I end up putting this on and it is an absolute dog and it is too laggy or it's just not working with Adam's manifold, I've got this one here which should be sweet, and it's basically just a new version of the 3582, just not benefiting from the twin scroll. So yeah, before we go any further, let me know your thoughts below. Have I done a silly thing by putting a China-made turbo? Actually, I don't know if they're Chinese or Taiwanese. Have I done a shitty thing by putting a copy of a brand name turbo instead of just putting the right one on to start with? When this whole single turbo thing was conceptualized back in 2020, I had intentions of just putting a Garrett on, and the local Garrett dealer, I actually spoke to him, he has seen the channel, and they did offer me a deal on the Garrett, but it still works out to literally 3 times the price of what the Pulsars cost. And I've just thought, I just need to save the money, especially with everything that's going on. We'll try the Pulsar and we'll go from there. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you think I'm an idiot for using a Garrett, even though the manifold was designed for a Garrett. I want the feedback down below. I haven't played with many big single turbos. Yeah, as I've looked at that, I might just go and grab O'Reilly's towards the end and we'll compare it to a 3584. In the meantime, let's open up the Wastegates. Now the Wastegates, I wanted to cheap out with the Wastegates, I really did. Unlike when I was researching the Pulsars, I found a lot of basically bad reviews on Chinese Wastegates. Couldn't find any bad reviews on the Pulsar turbos, lots of bad reviews on Chinese copies of Wastegates. I guess they're just not made to handle the heat of a car that's been wound up, and things get hot in the Wastegates. So, Golby's had a 15 or 20 or 25% off sale, I can't remember what it was, but basically Turbo Smart was on sale, and all of the research I did, the Turbo Smart Wastegate offerings by far seem to exceed everything else. Now, Adam designed the kit around tile wastegates. He has got tile wastegates on his, but yeah, these are pretty much the same price in Australia for a genuine tile or a genuine Turbo Smart, and I just like these later generation of Turbo Smart stealth gates. It's a mouthful to get right when you've got too many things on your brain. They can be water cooled, but yeah, I've got them set up with 17-pound springs, which Ken has told me is too much. I should have put a 15-pound spring in it, but we'll see how we go. All right, so, also with this kit, as it is a twin scroll kit, and I'm pretty sure the dock races are the same, you do need to run twin wastegates. Now, it is an option, it's not an option on this kit, but like Dan from Simply Tuning, his single turbo kits, they're also twin scroll, but he runs the wastegates in the exhaust housing. They stick out from about there, and it doesn't affect the twin scroll, but yeah, Adam has sort of done it by the book. He's done it the proper way, so we're gonna have 2 stealth Turbo Smart wastegates on the 17T car. They're the right color, and that has just reminded me, I kind of want to paint the housing. I want to get that black. If anybody can just link me to the right paint to use to paint a compressor housing, that would be great. I'd love it, probably just a matte black. I want to go stealth engine bay look, kind of like O'Reilly's turbo. In fact, I'll go and grab the 3584 and we'll compare sizes. So this one's all blacked out. It is also quite a few years old and well used, but it still works fine. Yeah, something to note, I've just noticed. So the 351050 9 blade, that's a similar number of blades to another turbo we've played with recently, where the 3584 910, it's a 10 blade. I thought there were 11 blades. Anyway, so we've got a different number of blades between the older generation and the new generation, and this is basically the new version of that turbo, just made by somebody that's copied it. Yeah, there we go. Obviously the Simply Tuning turbo kit has the wastegate here. And actually, let's have a look at them in this angle. Because O'Reilly Turbo was running a 0.84 housing, where that is a 101. There we go. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two work on the equal length kit, and then to compare that kit to O'Reilly's once we get that thing running again. Oh, it's all happening. Guys, I know it's a bit of a basic video, but I wanted to do this on camera, mainly just so I've got a record of everything as well. But yeah, if you're interested in a turbo, hit up Jason from JB Tire and Mechanical, and yeah, I'm keen to put these Pulsar turbos through their paces. I mean, they look really good. They look really good. I thought they had anti-surge. Oh, maybe they do. Maybe they do. Guys, thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.